Welcome to Miss Scarlett. Subscribe and don't miss out on Patreon. Have fun! As the morning sun bathed his childhood home in a warm glow, Rylan, at 30, felt a familiar thrill as he quietly stepped into his parents' chamber. The house was his sanctuary for the day, with each family member engaged in their own activities away from this haven. His eyes sparkled with anticipation as he moved towards the wooden dresser, a treasure trove holding the key to his secret pleasure.
"A brief escape is all I seek,"
he murmured, his voice barely audible. With a deft touch, he slid open the drawers, revealing a hidden treasure, an array of delicate fabrics and vibrant colors. His breath quickened. Among the choices, a silk blouse, creamy as fresh milk, beckoned, its pearl buttons shimmering like dewdrops. Alongside, a navy pencil skirt awaited, together forming an enchanting ensemble. The fabric felt cool against his skin as he changed out of his plain gray t-shirt and jeans. Rylan moved to the full-length mirror, studying his reflection. The skirt hugged his hips, accentuating a figure he normally concealed beneath loose-fitting clothes. The blouse draped nicely across his shoulders, though it strained slightly at the chest. Not perfect, but enough to trigger that familiar sense of rightness that had haunted him since childhood. He turned sideways, smoothing the fabric with his palms. His short brown hair and day-old stubble clashed with the elegant outfit. If only he could. The bedroom door swung open. "Mom, did you see my—" Jennifer's voice died mid-sentence. Rylan froze, paralyzed by the sight of his 32-year-old sister standing in the doorway, shopping bags dangling from her wrists, mouth agape. The world collapsed into a pinpoint of shame and terror. Blood rushed to his face as he scrambled to form words. Any words that might salvage this catastrophe.
"I can explain,"
he managed, voice cracking. I'm not. Jennifer stepped into the room and closed the door behind her. The click of the latch echoed like a gunshot. She set her shopping bags down slowly, her expression unreadable. "How long?" she asked simply. Rylan's eyes darted to the floor, the window, anywhere but his sister's face.
"Since I was a teenager,"
he admitted, arms crossing protectively over the blouse.
"I don't do it often, just sometimes when everyone's out."
He waited for disgust, for mockery, for the phone to emerge from her pocket to document his humiliation. Instead, Jennifer circled him slowly, head tilted in assessment. "The colors are all wrong for you," she said finally. Of all possible responses, this was the last one Rylan expected. "What?" "Mom's complexion is autumn. Yours is more—" She studied his face intently. "Spring or summer. And that cut does nothing for your frame." Rylan blinked rapidly, uncertain if this bizarre critique was better or worse than the derision he'd anticipated. Jennifer unzipped one of her shopping bags and rummaged through it. "Here," she said, extracting a burgundy A-line dress. "I bought this today, but I think it might suit you better." "You want me to try on your dress?" Rylan asked, incredulously. "Don't you think this is weird?" Jennifer shrugged. "I've been taking fashion design courses for the past year. Been meaning to tell the family, but was waiting for the right moment. Consider this practical experience." She thrust the dress toward him. "Go on. Unless you'd rather talk about how I found you wearing Mom's clothes." Put that way, the choice seemed obvious. Rylan accepted the garment with reluctance, waiting for Jennifer to leave. She merely turned her back, giving him a modicum of privacy. With awkward movements, he changed into the dress, struggling briefly with the side zipper.
Okay,
He muttered.
it's on.
Jennifer turned and broke into a smile. Much better. The color brings out the warmth in your skin. She guided him back to the mirror. See how the cut creates the illusion of a waistline? Rylan did see. The dress skimmed his body, gathering slightly at the waist before flaring at the hips. The burgundy fabric made his hazel eyes appear more green than brown. You just need... Jennifer disappeared into the master bathroom, returning with their mother's makeup kit. Sit, she commanded, pointing to the ottoman at the foot of the bed. No, that's too far. I don't need... Trust me, your 5 o'clock shadow is fighting with the elegance of that neckline. Stunned into compliance, Rylan perched on the ottoman while Jennifer opened the makeup kit. With expert touches, she applied foundation, concealer, and powder. Close your eyes, she instructed, selecting an eyeshadow palette. Where did you learn to do this? Rylan asked as she blended colors across his eyelids.
YouTube, mostly.
And practice on friends. I've been serious about fashion and styling for years. She applied a coat of mascara to his lashes. Why didn't you ever tell me about this? Rylan's eyes fluttered open. Why would I? It's not exactly something you announce at family dinner. Fair point. Jennifer applied a rose-tinted lip gloss to his mouth. But we could have been doing this together all along, instead of you sneaking around in Mom's outdated clothes. She stepped back to assess her work. Not bad for improvising. Now look. Rylan turned toward the mirror and gasped. The person staring back was transformed. The makeup softened his features, highlighting cheekbones he never knew he had. The stubble had vanished beneath expert application of foundation. With the burgundy dress framing his face, he looked pretty.
I never knew it could look like this,
he whispered. Jennifer squeezed his shoulder.
That's because you've been doing it wrong. Mom's makeup is for her coloring, not yours. And her clothes are for her body type, not yours.
I don't exactly have options. You could, Jennifer said thoughtfully. I need practice styling different figures. You need clothes that actually fit you properly. A mischievous glint appeared in her eye. What are you doing next Saturday? The following weekend found Rylan nervously parking outside a modest boutique in a town 40 minutes from home. Jennifer had insisted they shop somewhere they wouldn't run into anyone they knew. Ready? She asked, unbuckling her seatbelt.
No.
Rylan's knuckles whitened on the steering wheel. This is crazy. I can't go in there. You can and you will. I've already called ahead. The owner is a friend from my fashion courses. She's very discreet and very talented. You told someone about me? Panic edged his voice. I told her I'm bringing a client who needs a private fitting session. That's all she needs to know. Jennifer reached over and gently pried his fingers from the wheel. Come on. I spent hours creating that look for you. Beneath his loose sweater and jeans, Rylan wore basic shapewear and a padded bra. Jennifer had arrived at his apartment at dawn, transforming him with skillful makeup application. She'd even brought a wig, shoulder length with soft waves in a rich auburn color that complemented his skin tone. The auburn suits you perfectly, she'd declared while securing it. Much better than my color. I'm almost jealous. Now, Rylan touched the wig self-consciously. People will know. They really won't. Trust me on this. She squeezed his hand. But if you truly hate it, we can leave anytime. I promise. Taking a deep breath, Rylan nodded and stepped out of the car. The boutique's bell chimed as they entered. A slender woman with a silver pixie cut glanced up from behind the counter and smiled warmly. Jennifer! Right on time! Her gaze shifted to Rylan without a flicker of suspicion. And this must be your client! I'm Elaine. This is my friend Ryan, Jennifer said smoothly. The feminine pronunciation, Ryan, caught Rylan off guard, but he managed a small smile. Lovely to meet you, Ryan. Jennifer mentioned you're building a professional wardrobe? Jennifer jumped in before he could respond. Ryan works from home mostly, but has some important video conferences coming up. We're looking for pieces that project confidence while remaining comfortable. Perfect, Elaine said. I've set aside the private fitting room as requested. Follow me. She led them to a spacious dressing area with plush seating and a three-way mirror. I'll pull some options based on Jennifer's notes. Make yourself comfortable. When Elaine departed, Rylan collapsed onto the velvet ottoman. This is surreal, he whispered. But exciting, right? Jennifer's eyes sparkled. No one suspected a thing. Before he could respond, Elaine returned with an armful of garments in jewel tones and earth hues. Let's start with these basics and see what works for your frame. The next 2 hours passed in a blur of fabrics and styles. Jennifer and Elaine worked as a team, assessing each garment with professional scrutiny. They selected pencil skirts that created the illusion of hips, blouses with details that drew attention upward, and dresses cut to flatter a broader shoulder line. To Rylan's amazement, he began to relax and even enjoy the process. Each new outfit revealed possibilities he'd never imagined. The rich auburn of the wig brought warmth to his complexion, making every color they tried look harmonious. The burgundy knit dress is definitely a winner, Elaine declared. And that emerald silk blouse brings out your eyes beautifully. I think we need those black ankle boots too, Jennifer added. They're perfect with the charcoal pencil skirt. When they finally emerged from the boutique, Rylan carried 3 shopping bags filled with carefully selected pieces. Jennifer had insisted on paying, calling it an investment in her portfolio. Next week we'll work on accessories, she announced as they loaded the car. And proper makeup. You can't keep borrowing Mom's. Next week? Rylan placed the bags carefully in the trunk.
You want to do this again?
Of course! This is just the foundation of your wardrobe. She closed the trunk and faced him. Unless you don't want to? Rylan considered the question. The day had awakened something in him, not just the thrill of dressing in women's clothes, but the experience of being treated as a woman. No one had questioned or mocked him. For a few hours, he'd simply been Ryan, Jennifer's friend with the pretty auburn hair. I do want to, he admitted. But I don't understand why you're doing all this for me. Jennifer leaned against the car, her expression softening. Remember when we were kids, and I wanted to play baseball instead of taking ballet? And everyone gave me grief except you? Rylan nodded slowly. You told Mom I should get to choose what made me happy, even if it wasn't what girls normally did. She smiled at the memory. You supported me being exactly who I was. I'm just returning the favor. The following weeks established a regular pattern. Every Saturday, Jennifer arrived at Rylan's apartment with new ideas and techniques. She taught him how to apply his own makeup, select accessories that complemented his outfits, and move with greater confidence in heels. Smaller steps, she advised as he wobbled across his living room in newly purchased kitten heels.
Let your hips sway naturally. You're overthinking it.
By the third Saturday, Rylan had mastered basic makeup application and could style the auburn wig himself. Jennifer had insisted on purchasing a high-quality human hairpiece that could be washed and styled like natural hair. "The color is absolutely perfect for you," she observed as she trimmed the ends to frame his face better. "It brings out the golden flecks in your hazel eyes." Together, they organized his growing collection of feminine clothes, creating combinations for different occasions. The burgundy dress remained his favorite, but he developed a fondness for the emerald blouse paired with the charcoal pencil skirt.
"I wish I could wear these to work,"
he confessed one afternoon as they sorted through his new possessions. "What's stopping you?" Jennifer asked, folding a cream cashmere sweater. Rylan laughed.
"Seriously? I can't just show up at the office in a dress."
"Why not? Other women do." The casual comment stopped him short. Other women. The phrase echoed in his mind, triggering a cascade of thoughts he'd been avoiding.
"I'm not,"
he began, then faltered. "That's not what this is about." Jennifer set down the sweater. "Isn't it? Because when you're dressed like this, when you're moving and speaking as Ryan with the auburn hair, you seem more yourself than I've ever seen you." Rylan turned away, unable to meet her gaze. "It's just clothes, just playing dress-up."
"Is it? Because most men don't spend their weekends perfecting the application of liquid eyeliner."
She touched his shoulder gently. "It's okay if this is more than occasional dress-up, you know."
"I don't know what it is,"
he admitted. "I just know it feels right."
"Then that's enough for now."
She squeezed his shoulder. "And if you ever decide it's more, I'll be right here." The conversation lingered in Rylan's thoughts throughout the following week. During quiet moments at work, he found himself touching the collar of his button-down shirt, wishing it was the silk blouse hanging in his closet at home. In meetings, he caught himself adjusting his posture to the more graceful stance Jennifer had taught him. By Friday, he'd reached a decision. He texted Jennifer, "Can we try something different tomorrow?" Her response came within minutes. "Always open to new ideas. What are you thinking?" "I want to go out, not just shopping, maybe lunch or a movie," as Ryan. The 3 dots appeared and disappeared several times before her answer came. "Absolutely. I know just the place." Saturday morning, Jennifer arrived with a new makeup palette and a determined expression. "If we're going public, we're doing it right." She spent extra time on his appearance, contouring his features with subtle highlights and shadows, and styling the auburn wig into loose waves that framed his face. The emerald blouse over the charcoal pencil skirt gave him a polished look, while the kitten heels added height without compromising stability. "Remember, confidence is key," she advised as they prepared to leave. "The world responds to how you present yourself. If you act like you belong, people assume you do." Their destination was a small art gallery 2 towns over, hosting an exhibition of local photographers. Jennifer reasoned it would be busy enough to provide the public experience Rylan wanted, yet relaxed enough to ease his anxiety. As they wandered through the gallery, Rylan's initial terror gradually subsided. No one stared. No one pointed. Conversations didn't halt when he approached. He was simply another visitor admiring the artwork. "What do you think of this series?" Jennifer asked, gesturing toward a collection of landscape photographs. Before Rylan could answer, an older woman beside them spoke up. "The composition is remarkable, isn't it? The photographer has such an eye for natural light." Jennifer smoothly included the woman in their conversation, introducing herself and, "My friend Ryan." Ryland's pulse quickened at the introduction, but he managed a smile and a few comments about the photographs. By the time they left the gallery for a nearby cafe, Ryland had engaged in 3 separate conversations with strangers, all of whom had addressed him as Miss or Ma'am without hesitation. "See?" Jennifer said, as they settled at a corner table with coffee and pastries. "What did I tell you? It's all about confidence." Ryland cradled his cappuccino, marveling at how comfortable he felt in his skin. "I never thought I could do this. Be out in public like this." "You've always had it in you." Jennifer broke off a piece of almond croissant. "The clothes, the makeup, they're just tools. The real transformation came from you allowing yourself to be seen." Ryland nodded, understanding flickering at the edges of his consciousness.
"There's something I need to tell you."
Jennifer waited, giving him space to find the words.
"I think,"
he began, voice catching.
"I think this might be more than just dressing up for me."
She reached across the table and squeezed his hand.
"I know. I've known for a while."
"How? I didn't even know until recently."
"The way your entire being lights up when you're dressed as Ryan. The way you move, speak, interact with the world."
She smiled gently. "The person I see on Saturdays has always been there, just waiting for permission to exist." Tears welled in Ryland's eyes, threatening to ruin the careful eye makeup. "I don't know what to do with this realization. It's terrifying." "You don't have to do anything right away. Take time to explore what feels right." Jennifer passed him a napkin for his tears.
"And remember, you're not alone."
"Whatever you decide, I'm with you." The following weeks brought a shift in their Saturday sessions. What had begun as styling lessons evolved into deeper conversations about identity and authenticity. Jennifer brought books and articles about gender identity, leaving them with Ryland to explore at his own pace. One rainy Saturday, as they sat in his apartment drinking tea, Ryland made another request. "I want to try using different pronouns, just between us, when I'm dressed like this." Jennifer nodded, her expression warm. "Of course. She and her?"
"Yes."
The word emerged as barely a whisper. "And I've been thinking about names. Ryan works when we're out, but it still feels like a compromise."
"Any ideas?"
Ryland, or rather not quite Ryland anymore, twisted the auburn strands of the wig between nervous fingers. "What do you think of Rhiannon? It's close enough to my birth name that it feels connected, but it's fully feminine." "Rhiannon," Jennifer repeated, testing the sound. "It suits you, especially with the auburn hair." And so Rhiannon was born, emerging more fully each weekend. Her confidence grew steadily as she practiced navigating the world in her true form. Jennifer remained her steadfast ally, offering guidance, support, and a safe space to explore her evolving identity. After 3 months of weekend transformations, Rhiannon faced a new challenge, their parents' wedding anniversary dinner. "I can't go as Rhiannon," she told Jennifer as they sat in her apartment, surrounded by outfits they'd purchased together. "They don't know anything about this." "No one's suggesting you should," Jennifer assured her. "But would you be comfortable telling them? Eventually, I mean." Rhiannon smoothed the fabric of the burgundy dress laid across her lap. Her first dress, now a talisman of her journey. "I don't know. What if they reject me?"
"They might need time to adjust. But they love you."
"They love Ryland. They love their child," Jennifer corrected gently. "The packaging matters less than you think." The anniversary dinner passed uneventfully, with Rylan playing his accustomed role. Yet something had shifted. The performance of masculinity now felt precisely that, a performance, increasingly disconnected from his inner truth. The following Monday, Rhiannon took a momentous step. After careful consideration and lengthy discussions with Jennifer, she scheduled an appointment with a gender therapist. "I'm proud of you," Jennifer said when Rhiannon called with the news. "This is a huge step." "I'm terrified," Rhiannon admitted. "But also relieved, like I've been holding my breath for years and finally decided to exhale." The therapist, Dr. Mercer, created a safe environment for Rhiannon to explore her identity. Through weekly sessions, she began to unravel the complex threads of her experiences, recognizing patterns of discomfort and disconnection that had shadowed her life as Rylan. After 2 months of therapy, Rhiannon made another decision. She invited Jennifer to accompany her to a consultation with an endocrinologist who specialized in gender-affirming care. "Are you sure you're ready?" Jennifer asked as they sat in the waiting room. Rhiannon nodded, her auburn hair catching the fluorescent light. She'd recently purchased a new wig, identical to her first, but of even higher quality. The color had become intrinsic to her identity, warm, rich, vibrant. "I've spent my whole life feeling like I'm watching myself from a distance," she explained. "Since I started living as Rhiannon, even just part-time, that distance has closed. I want to keep moving forward." The doctor was matter-of-fact and supportive, explaining the effects and timeline of hormone therapy. "The changes will be gradual," she explained. "Some effects are reversible if you decide to stop. Others are permanent. It's important you understand what to expect." Rhiannon listened attentively, asking thoughtful questions. By the appointment's end, she held a prescription that represented another step toward alignment. "How does it feel?" Jennifer asked as they left the clinic. Rhiannon clutched the prescription paper, her emerald green blouse bright against the gray autumn sky. "Like I've been given a key to a door I've been knocking on my whole life." The months that followed brought subtle but meaningful changes. Rhiannon's skin softened. Her body's contours began to shift. The auburn wig became less necessary as her own hair grew out, though she still used it occasionally while her natural locks reached the desired length. 6 months into her transition, Rhiannon faced her biggest challenge yet, coming out to their parents. Jennifer offered to be present for support, and they chose a Sunday afternoon when the house would be quiet. Their mother noticed the difference in her younger child immediately. "You look different," she said, as Rhiannon entered the living room wearing jeans and a simple cream sweater, clothes that could read as androgynous, but were purchased from the women's department. "Have you lost weight?" "Not exactly." Rhiannon perched on the edge of the sofa. "I need to tell you and Dad something important." Their father lowered his newspaper, concern crossing his features.
"Are you ill?"
"No, I'm actually healthier than I've been in years." Rhiannon took a deep breath, finding Jennifer's encouraging gaze across the room. "I'm transgender. I've been living part-time as a woman named Rhiannon for almost a year now, and I've been on hormone therapy for 6 months." The silence that followed seemed to stretch into eternity. Their mother's hand flew to her mouth, their father's brow furrowed in confusion. "Is this some kind of joke?" he finally asked. "No, Dad. It's who I am." Rhiannon's voice remained steady despite her racing heart. "I've felt this way my entire life, but I didn't have the words for it until recently." "But you never showed any signs," their mother protested. "You were such a normal little boy."
Jennifer intervened gently. There were signs if you knew what to look for. And Rhiannon has been much happier since she started living authentically. The conversation that followed was difficult, filled with questions, tears, and occasional flares of anger. Their parents cycled through confusion, denial, and grief for the son they thought they knew. I'm still the same person, Rhiannon assured them. I just finally look on the outside the way I've always felt on the inside. By evening's end, no firm resolution had been reached, but a door remained open. Their parents requested time to process the news, promising to continue the conversation when emotions had settled. That went better than I feared, Rhiannon told Jennifer as they drove away from the family home. At least they didn't disown me on the spot. They're in shock, but they didn't reject you. Jennifer navigated the familiar streets toward Rhiannon's apartment. They asked questions. That's a good sign. Thank you for being there. I couldn't have done it without you. Yes, you could have. Jennifer glanced at her sister, noting how the setting sun illuminated her auburn hair. You're stronger than you realize. You always have been. 1 year after Jennifer discovered her brother trying on their mother's clothes, Rhiannon celebrated her rebirth day with a small gathering at her apartment. Jennifer was there, of course, along with Dr. Mercer, Elaine from the boutique who had become a close friend, and a few supportive colleagues from work where Rhiannon had recently completed her transition to full-time. Most surprisingly, their parents attended, bringing a cake with "Happy Birthday, Rhiannon," written in burgundy icing, a thoughtful nod to the dress that had started her journey. Your father picked the color, their mother explained as she set the cake on the table. He remembered you mentioning it was your favorite. Rhiannon blinked back tears, touching the auburn hair that now grew naturally to her shoulders. Thank you. That means more than you know. Her father approached awkwardly, hands in his pockets. I'm still learning, he said. I don't always understand, but Jennifer helped me see that I don't need to understand completely to support you. The simple acknowledgement broke something open in Rhiannon's heart. She embraced her father, feeling his initial stiffness melt into a genuine hug. Later, as the gathering wound down, Rhiannon and Jennifer stood on the small balcony overlooking the city lights. Did you ever imagine we'd be here a year ago? Rhiannon asked, smoothing the fabric of her burgundy dress, the original one, now altered to fit her changing figure. Jennifer leaned against the railing. Not the details, no, but I knew something important was happening that day I walked in on you. You changed my life. No, Jennifer corrected. I just helped you change your own life. All I did was show you possibilities. You found the courage to pursue them. Rhiannon considered this, watching the distant headlights trace patterns through the darkness. Either way, I owe you everything. You owe me nothing except to live your truth. Jennifer bumped her shoulder playfully. And maybe credit when I launch my styling business for transgender clients. Rhiannon laughed. From accidental discovery to career inspiration. See? We've helped each other. Inside, their mother called that it was time for cake. As they turned to rejoin the celebration, Rhiannon caught her reflection in the balcony door's glass. Auburn hair framing a face that finally felt like her own. Burgundy dress embracing a body growing more aligned with her soul each day. The woman in the reflection smiled back at her, no longer a secret, no longer a stranger, but finally, and completely herself.
Thanks for watching my girlies! Be sure to check out Patreon for more!